Welcome to part 27 of the 2018 NFL Draft and Review. Today we will be taking a look at the 2018 Atlanta Falcons draft class. And this is a class that I would say is actually reasonably overachieved what I expected of them. I only really anticipated Calvin Ridley and Shia Oliver doing anything, but we've gotten substantially more out of this class than that. So, of course, we will be beginning this with the 26th selection, wide receiver Calvin Ridley. And, well, Ridley obviously has had a bit of a problem. He took a break for mental health reasons and then got a season-long suspension for gambling on his own team, might I add. So he's kind of lost the last year and a half, and he'll now be with the Jaguars this coming season. But really, I can't really see how that wouldn't benefit the Jaguars. This guy's a very, very good receiver, and mixed with a good quarterback that isn't in the twilight of his career like Matt Ryan, then that's a good mixture. And it has to be said, it's bullshit, his suspension. I mean, he wasn't playing. He gambled on his own team. You literally have no impact on the game when that happens. I don't see a problem. I really do not see the problem here. Yeah, this isn't like a guy who knows they're going to win by 30, betting on them to lose, and then, doing everything possible to make it a reality. No. So, especially considering that Deshaun Watson got less time for that for nearly 30 cases of sexual assault and harassment. So, like I said. So, here we go. We'll take a look at Calvin Ridley. This is during the 2020 season.
Third down and long. Ryan slinging it outside for Calvin Ridley. Good timing from Ryan to Calvin Ridley, and he breaks free inside the 20-yard line from the 19 on second down. Ryan, the out route, that one cleaner for Calvin Ridley. Flag is thrown as Ridley cuts it back and then heads towards the sideline. The 35-year-old will throw it up. And Calvin Ridley.
Every drop has the perfect steps to it to time up with the route.
Just
and
like
the end
that.
result is touchdown.
Calvin Ridley was by himself.
It's intriguing.
You can't do that with Calvin Ridley. You absolutely cannot.
Ryan stepping up, throwing past the sticks. Consecutive Pro Bowl appearances for Wagner. Ryan. Connection with Ridley again. First down.
This game got out of hand in the second half.
Ryan throws late and to the goal line for Ridley. He's in for the touchdown.
And they will fake it to Gurley. Ryan some pressure. Steps away, throwing end zone, and it's caught. Hitting the pylon, and he's in for the touchdown. Calvin Ridley for 6. From their own 25, it's a fake to Gurley. All day for Ryan, who loads it up and going on the deep out, and he's got the completion for a first down. 6-minute drive. Ryan to throw it. Has time. Lofting it for the corner. It's a touchdown. Ridley again.
Really, he could just do anything you want him to. Reasonable deep threat ability. Pretty good route runner by the looks of it. You've got to really keep an eye on him when tempted to tackle him, because like you saw that one play against, I believe it was the Seahawks or someone like that, he can just bounce around like you wouldn't believe, and that can create extra yardage. One thing I will add is that back when Ridley was drafted, I kind of saw that he would likely end up replacing Julio Jones with the Falcons, and that did happen. And back in the day, I caught a lot of crap for that because Julio Jones was still a good receiver. It's just a very simple thing that people don't consider because a lot of people don't pay attention to the game the way I do. Basically, every receiver, really any player, has a certain point when you can expect that their physical ability will start to go into decline, and that will make them vulnerable to a younger player surpassing them. And that's pretty much what happened with Julio Jones. And really, the Falcons probably should have traded him 2 years before they did. They would have gotten a lot more for him. And Calvin Ridley ended up running right by him. Now, it didn't result in Ridley remaining with the Falcons, but we'll see if he can make them regret that a little bit with the Jaguars. But yes, overall, age is kind of the undefeated champion when it comes to sports. No matter how good a player is, no matter how their longevity seems to hold up, sooner or later your body just cannot do it anymore. And Calvin Ridley was signed and drafted about the time that Julio Jones hit that point. So, never hang on to any player unless you know for a fact they can keep going. Next up, we have cornerback Ashaya Oliver, and I don't know where the 49ers are getting the cap space to sign all these guys, but he's now with the 49ers, and though the Falcons never seemingly made him like a permanent full-time starter type of player, you can see the stat lines suggesting that he probably should have been. And I hear a lot that this guy's a very versatile player, that you could shift him around as necessary, and that is some interesting depth that the 49ers needed, especially considering the fact that their secondary, it's not weak, but I definitely saw a couple teams that were giving the 49ers some problems in the passing game, so if he could take away a team's like second or third option, then the 49ers have a very valuable player on their hands there. So here we go. Don't expect this very much. He is not good at intercepting the ball, but curiously does a decent enough job returning the ball when he does, because he seems to be kind of a careful runner and following the blocks of his teammates, as you saw right there. That's him getting his hand on that ball. Good deflection, but really, if he could turn his head around on that one, that's an interception. Good tackle. Screen pass. Good job getting around the block. Just bring down the receiver. Even though it's only the Bears, that's still pretty damn good. Just gaining the lane there. Another good job. Good sack there on a... Yeah, I think that's Colt McCoy, so not that impressive, but still. Yeah, like I said, he almost plays like a safety, kind of. It's kind of interesting to me whenever I see a corner that can play like that. And as far as I know, he actually has been played at safety a number of times by the Falcons, so makes sense. But yeah, really, this is a pretty solid piece for the San Francisco 49ers to have. They already have a very good defense, but it's pretty much just gotten better this offseason. You know, it's really, if the 49ers can't get to the Super Bowl this year with the amount of pieces the Eagles lost and how much they're stacking on an already stacked roster, if they can't get to the Super Bowl, Kyle Shanahan needs to be fired. There's no two ways around it. At that point, there has to come a point when you realize that the roster cannot get any better without putting the team in serious financial troubles with the caps, with the salary cap. And you have to realize at that point your coach is not getting the job done. And don't give me the quarterback bullshit. Jimmy Garoppolo is good enough to win a Super Bowl with. They almost fucking did it. So, next up, they have defensive tackle Deadrin Senat. And Senat was kind of an underachieving pick in my eyes. I figured that he could probably set himself up pretty nicely as a starter, but he just never managed it. The only games he started was in his rookie year, which was also his best year from basically every standpoint. And he was just kind of your typical backup defensive tackle. Get some tackles when he's on the field, but not really be the game changer required to really do anything. And he's now kind of sitting practice squad to the Buccaneers. So, not a lot going on here. Next, we have running back Ito Smith. And he had a very, very brief moment or two with the Falcons. But even in spite of the weakness of the Falcons' running game through a good chunk of his stay there, he really didn't do anything with it. The Cowboys only had him active for one game in 2021. I don't think he's been in the league since. Free agent. So, I figured that this guy would probably be a kick returner because of his sort of speed going on there, but other than that, just not really. They never really used him for that in Atlanta. So, next though, we have kind of, I would say, where this draft goes from a mixed bag to if the Falcons would have kept the 4 players in this class that were actually good, they might have actually stood a chance of continuing to compete, but they didn't. Now they're just fucking lying to themselves. So, first up, we have wide receiver Russell Gage. Now, Russell Gage has been one of those players that he is what he is. He's one of those guys that he has his utility to a team, but he doesn't really ever go beyond that. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. As we see, he's had 4 more touchdowns the last 3 years. He had 700-plus yards his final 2 seasons in Atlanta. Really, the only reason he didn't do the same in Tampa Bay was just a crowded lineup of targets, you know. When you're dealing with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, guys like that, you're just not going to get a very high chunk of the targets. Even in an offense that has no running game and has to throw the ball over 700 times through the season. So, this is one of those receivers that if he were in New England, I wouldn't complain. Because he catches the fucking ball. He does good with it in his hands. He's a good route runner, a good deep threat. You know, I'm not saying that he could solve the receiver problem the Patriots have, but he'd be a little better to have than guys like Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. So, here we go.
Ryan going deep down the sideline for Gage. What a catch! Win
Saints would be in. Ryan throwing for the end zone. It is caught by...
You see what I'm saying? Basically, immediately here.
Ryan on the roll, throwing for Russell Gage. It's a touchdown.
You can do pretty much everything.
Ryan protected well, going deep. Russell Gage, and that's a Falcons touchdown.
Ryan with time, throws, caught, touchdown. Russell Gage, his second of the year, and the Falcons up 20-3.
Well, this year, they work on the trick set here, and Russell Gage throwing it deep for Ridley and a touchdown. How about that? They line Ryan up at receiver, and Gage throws a 39-yard touchdown to Ridley.
Why didn't Russell do that when he played at LSU? I know Joe Burrow threw some dimes after he left. I had no idea Russell Gage. I mean, watch this seed. It's going to be that deep post action, right? Good little trick off of the run, but you can't throw it better. Matt Ryan and Herbert won't throw a better dime than Russell Gage just put on 1-8.
Good opening drive so far. Another play pass. It's Smith, or it's Ryan loading up and hitting on target to Gage. First and goal for the Falcons. Blitz coming. Ryan floating it to the corner of the end zone. It's caught for the touchdown.
But yeah, I'm sure you can see what I mean here. This guy just does whatever you want him to do. You know, whether it's your standard route runs, deep balls. I mean, you have that passing touchdown there. You could use him for trickery plays like that. It's just... It's almost sad to me that this guy hasn't had some, like, breakout 1,000, 10 touchdown campaign, because I'd say he could do it if he could just get himself to a team where he's not the third or fourth option. You know, just get him a good quarterback and a team where he can be the number 2 receiver, and let's see what he does. That's what I'm saying here. Then we come to the steal of the whole damn class. Foye Oluokun. And this is the definition of hang on to them because they might develop into something. And I really don't know what Atlanta was doing not letting this guy start more. 90 tackles as a rookie, 62 with just 3 games started, and then the 100 start hitting, 117, 192, an NFL record, 184 with the Jaguars, and that right there is why I don't really care for the Falcons management. A guy sets a record for tackles and you let him go? I'm just baffled by that. How in the fuck do you let that happen? League record for combine tackles and you let the guy out the door. I don't even know how the Jaguars managed to get this guy for less than $50 million. But we'll go over here. This is from the 2020. Now let's try to find a 2021 reel here. And here we go.
Eagles 0 for 1 on 4th down. Gainwell in there again. Who gets it? Gainwell surging forward.
Now look, the league before they forgot how to stop the Eagles from getting 4th and 2 yardage.
But then again, neither has Atlanta's offense. But that's a story. On 3rd and short, Sanders just gets blown up. He had no shot. Eric Harris came in from the safety spot by Oluokun. Helped get him off his stride, too. Pittsburgh, that was the Raiders fans. That was great.
That was so good in the pregame.
Awesome. All right, so here's Brady. 4 touchdowns today. They set up a screen, and they've got blocking. Fournette. Oluokun, though, makes the play. Force the ball to the Cruz. Who's going to get it? It may have gone out of bounds, and if that's the case, that means it stays with Tampa Bay.
That old peanut punch, Charles Tillman, it's kind of the buzzword now around the NFL. He is a boxer there. He is as good as there is.
Speaking of the Mannings, an Omaha call from Daniel Jones. As we begin the second quarter.
It didn't have the same production when he would call Omaha.
You had a look at Shepard on the sidelines. Giants already lost Slayton. On 3rd and long, Jones, complete. Down to the 15-yard line and finally taken down at the 13. It's Colin Johnson. Second down and 4 as Barkley looks to spin out of trouble. And then he's met by Foye Oluokun.
And as soon as he goes, he's getting down into the backfield. And as soon as he shoots his gun, Saquon Barkley can't dance. Now you have to shoot your gun. If you're Saquon, understand.
Omaha, what's that? Second down and 1 on the toss. It's Barkley. And he will not get there.
Yeah, I don't like that. Now all of a sudden you want to run outside. These guys are fast, man. You have Foye, number 54, goes, sets the edge. Rest of the team just rallies around and they stay home, keep their gap integrity. You're not going to get that on this Falcons defense. They're
Washington starting to get it going. From the 45 of Atlanta on first down, Heineke on the roll. Looking downfield, going to have to try to move the football, and he is hit hard by Oluokun.
Withstanding the pressure, hanging in the pocket, delivering a strike.
From the 48 on first down, pressure coming again. Heineke throws incomplete, in and out of the hands of McLaurin.
Now a third down and 20. Sliding for the catch, Durham Smythe.
So, yeah, the guy is just an absolute beast, and I won't lie, I didn't see this coming. You know, when he came out of Yale, I didn't think he'd do very well. There really hadn't been a defensive player from Yale that did very well in the NFL before that. Even, really, I would say, going back to the really olden days of football. So Oluokun just came out as a complete blindside sort of thing. And like I said, he's developed into an absolute monster. Multiple interceptions in 2 of the 3 years he's primarily been a starter. He does well at returning them. As you can see, longs a 50 in both of those seasons. Pass deflections, 4+ the last 3 years. Forced fumbles. Very, very good at doing that because that just punch the ball out method that's really just been very effective. He usually isn't the one to drop on what he forces, but it still is putting the ball on the ground, giving your team a chance to make a turnover. You know, he can be used to a degree in containing the quarterback, and with how many quarterback hits he's picked up the last 3 years, I won't be too surprised if we see like a 5 to 7 sack season one of these days here soon. But if he could keep up that tackle pace, the Jaguars are gonna really have to pay him in 2 more years. This is just that's just insane. That is just crazy numbers. 192 combined. Just wow. So yeah, this class goes upwards. This went from a B to, I would say, pretty much an A+, but with just that tiny subtraction that the Falcons management let everything good about this class out the door. That's just inexcusable fucking up of management. So that's gonna do it for this video. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and follow me on Twitter. And I will be seeing you tomorrow for the 2018 Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft class.